Hey, what's up, beautiful people? If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Jay. I'm the CEO of a nonprofit and I regularly share personal finance videos. And today we're going to be talking about budgeting and a 50-30-20 rule. All right. And when it comes to the 50-30-20 rule, if you're curious, those numbers represent percentages. So these numbers refer to what you get paid for after taxes. All right. So this is your net income when you get paid after taxes are taken out of your checks. So the 50 and the 50-30-20 stands for needs, 30 stands for wants, and 20 stands for savings. But stay tuned in because I would like to share with you a little thing how I would change this rule. And it'll probably help you guys out. So stay tuned for that. 50 needs. When you break it down in words like this, it makes it pretty self-explanatory what it means, and I'll dive in a little deeper. So 50%, that refers to needs, right? We just talked about. So needs are stuff that you absolutely need to live, right? Absolutely need to live. This is where 50% of your income you want to go towards. And these numbers are goals. Remember, these are benchmarks, these are goals. These are not live or die on, but if you can be at these numbers for needs, if you can be at this number or lower, you're doing really great. All right. And so needs is something that you're talking about. You got to pay rent, you got to pay mortgage, food, utilities, your gas, electric, water, whatever you may have, stuff like that. Those are needs. Those are things that you have to have in order to keep moving on, right? So if you're thinking, man, I need this video game. Nah, you don't, man. I need this hobby. That is not, we have a section for that, but that is not for this section. Okay. So needs is stuff that you absolutely need. You got to remember, you don't want too much of a percentage allocated in this area for your budgeting. Okay. If you can, you and your spouse, whatever the case may be, live in the 50% range. That means half of all your income that comes in every month is going towards paying for needs. It actually makes it really easy. So, for example, you're paying your mortgage at the end of the month and your mortgage is $2,000, right? So that means your first check in the month, you already know you can take 50% out of that check and reserve that just for needs. Right? So you don't have to pull it out all at one check. Some people like, all right, this is my check to have fun. This is my check to go towards all the bills. And they feel like, maybe they only have money once a month or something like that. If you budget correctly, you'll be able to have money throughout the month. You know what I mean? So let's look at that. So if you have $2,000 a month and for your mortgage, 1,000 is going to go towards the first check. You're going to take that out, and 1,000 for the second check. By the end of the month, you'll have 2,000. It makes it real easy. And remember, you don't want to get in a spot to be house broke. So what this means is somebody's living beyond their means. That's why 50% is a good benchmark. You don't want to live beyond your means. So this means like, all right, maybe you're spending a lot of money on your house, but now since you're spending 80% on your income, 80% of your income on your house, you won't be able to do much things. Your house broke. You're kind of broke. You won't be able to, you have a really nice house, but you won't be able to do much things outside of that. You won't be able to have fun the way you want it. You might not be able to do some of the things we other talk about in these other two categories, such as your want money and savings. So keep that in mind when you're doing need money. Now there's some need money that people feel like is need money. You ask the next person, they say it's want money. You leave those things up to you. But at the same time, remember, you want to leave 50% of your stuff. So you feel like a car is in your need money, that's up to you. That's really up to your personal discretion. If you feel like your cell phone bill is need money, you absolutely need it, that's up to your personal discretion. Take a look at that. But again, 50% is the goal here. That's what we're looking at. All right. Now, we covered 50% needs. We covered a 50 and a 50-30-20 rule. We're moving on to the 30%, the wants, all right? This is the fun stuff. This is the stuff that you want but do not need, okay? So this is where your hobbies come in. This might be where, gifts and birthdays and all this traveling, whatever the case may be. 30% of every check, you take that aside and you're able to use it for what you want. I think that's a good benchmark rule too. And remember, these are all goals and benchmarks, but you want to be around that 30% range. All right. So you got to remember to you got to remember to enjoy the now. Let me say that, right? So a lot of us get too caught, especially us investors, us really into personal finance. We get too caught up in looking into the future, too far down the road to enjoy the later, which is great. But you got to remember, you got to enjoy the road to get there as well. You got to enjoy the now. So it is okay. It is okay to leave some funds for yourself to be able to enjoy the now as well as your future, right? You only wherever you're at once. If you're young, you're only young once, right? You only live in those moments once. So you want to make sure that you're living in those moments, having a good time, but of course you're planning for your future, right? You're planning for the end of the road. You're planning for the long term, all right? Sometimes folks stop planning for their future because they aren't enjoying the now, right? They'll do this 50-30-20 rule. They'll really invest for their future. But since they aren't enjoying the now, they're not having fun now, they're not setting aside funds for themselves now, they do not like the process. And they don't end up finishing the process, right? So even the strong-willed ones can have that issue. But you can fix that by simply, like I said, enjoying the now, okay? I'm interested in hearing from you, actually. I want to know when you talk about want money, what are your hobbies? What are you doing? Right? And remember, this is a no judgment zone here. Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything from me. I'm into sports, but I'm also a big nerd. You know what I mean? So I'm into a lot of the superhero stuff as well. I got a really wide variety of interests. So, I mean, what would you consider your want money? What are your hobbies? Comment down below. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. Now, we covered the 50. That is your needs. We covered the 30. That is your wants. Now, wrapping it up, we're getting to the 20%, the savings, okay? Now, this is not the sexy one. This is not the fun one, you know what I mean? But it's important to take 20% of your net income and save that, okay? That is very important. Like I said, it's not sexy, but it's super important. And in the future, before you didn't even realize you're doing this whole process, you'll realize, like, oh, man, you know what, that was a sexy move that I did back then. But here's actually where I changed it a little bit, and I discussed this in one of my other videos. You can take a look to see that. But after I don't think you should be saving forever, right? After you have enough saved up to make sure you get by, let's talk 3 to 6 months of savings. So that way, if something happened, you lost your job or something along those lines, you have an emergency expense, you're good to go. You're taken care of. But after you hit that savings goal, that savings should, to me, in my eyes, turn into investing, and that's what I do. Invest for your future. Saving's not enough anymore. People used to think, and that's an old mindset, is saving is fine. Save, save, save. But now it's time, and people start realizing it's way better to let your money work for you. So now that 20% going from every check going to your future is going to make a big difference at the end of the road. 20% of your check needs to go into investing. Okay, and for you guys that know me or watch my channel, you should have known that was coming, I guess. But that was my small change up to this. Once you have your savings built up and you're good to go in case something happens or whatever the case may be, save that money and then start investing. And remember, all these numbers, these are benchmarks, these are goals. Don't live or die by them, but do your best to get really close to them. Okay, so if you reach these, you will really be set for your future. Okay, put yourself in a good spot for whatever your future self looks like. Be happy about what you did now. Okay, be able to reflect and say, you know what, I made a big difference in my life and impacted my lifestyle because of what I did back then. All right, so hey, for you guys, appreciate your time. Like, comment, and subscribe, especially for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps out the channel. And don't forget, focus pays dividends. Take care.